Good morning. My name's Mark Tyrrell. I'm the founder of the Sports Project. It's a little after 7 on the morning of Monday, the 22nd of March. And what dawned on me this morning was that it's actually a year tomorrow since the first lockdown. Children have had a year of the impact of COVID, as we all have, and we need to urgently consider what children are facing right now, what issues, what gaps this whole unprecedented situation is causing children, and what the risks are for their life moving forward. So, as a mental health sufferer myself, I know what a gap in social emotional learning at primary school age can cause. I won't be specific, but many years on, I still struggle on a daily basis with my mental health. And it began because of low resilience and low self esteem at primary school, moving to secondary school, not being fully prepared. And it's been there ever since. So, what issues are children facing in their social emotional learning? What have you been seeing in your school? For example, one of our schools, beg your pardon, says that this relationship skills are low. They've been at home, either maybe even without a sibling, or with a sibling. And there's been very little interaction, obviously, with their friends, with other adults that aren't their parents or carers. So the social skills required, empathy, understanding, listening skills, just aren't, have reduced. And they're seeing quite a lot of confrontation and anger and frustration within the children as they strive to get heard, but also um, want to make their points to others. So that's one area clearly. Resilience, how's that looking in your school at the moment? Have the children come back excited initially, or is it starting now? Is the resilience starting to reduce? Other things to look out for might have been self-esteem. How's their confidence in doing even some of the basic things? I spoke to a teacher the other day, and she said that the confidence in doing shoelaces in year 2 has is reduced. Independence, similarly, within that scenario, has reduced. Things have been done for them potentially at home that we wouldn't expect them to do in a school. So independence has gone down. So there's a lot of areas here that will directly affect their mental health right now and potentially for the rest of their life. So we need to consider what solutions are, what ideas are there out there, and I just like to share a few of mine and my colleagues. So what if the children had dedicated time on their social emotional learning? So the EEF and the EIF, they recommend 1 to 2 sessions per week, brief and regular delivery of an explicit program of study for social emotional learning. We could prepare the children with SEL, a toolkit we call it, but skills that they can use, like mindful breathing when their heart rate is elevated and the children understand. They feed to you and say, "Oh, actually, it's when I'm scared or when I'm stressed," um, and they actually feed to you when their heart rate gets elevated. So we can talk about how we bring that down. We can talk about what are the feelings and thoughts behind that behavior, behind that decision you just made, that choice. What were the feelings and the thoughts behind it? There's just a few ideas there of what we can do. But the stickable idea really here is to give them dedicated time on improving their mental health through social and emotional learning. Um, Another aspect, as I don't know about you guys out there, but obviously going out to the gym has had a big impact on me personally. Although speaking to a lot of friends and colleagues, they're similar. So, what's the impacts on physical health been for the children? Well, they've not been active really for the last year. They've not been allowed to go outside, and they certainly haven't got that regular opportunity that you as schools give them in terms of their lunchtime, their playtime, their PE lessons, after school sports clubs. There's been a lot that they haven't had. And the direct effects of this will be challenging in the sense that obviously, what are you seeing in your school? Are they coming back with less energy? Are they getting tired quicker in a PE lesson or in a run around at lunchtime? Um, what are they like in terms of, even um, around their posture and sat in the classroom? They've been sat at home, obviously looking at screens like I am now in terms of their learning. There hasn't been the active lessons that we would like to give them, active maths and active English and getting them out of their seats. That's not been happening. So the issues that we're going to be facing are, will the rates of obesity going up? Do we need to look at that? Do some of your children need cardiovascular help? Do they need range of movement help, flexibility? Could we start getting them to understand anatomy and physiology at an age appropriate level? What happens to my heart rate? How do I bring it down? When I lift this is what's required. I'm not by any means saying get them down the gym, but I'm just saying let's be mindful of educating them, of helping them find an activity in a sport right now that they can have for life, and it will help get them through this inactive, or the back end of this inactive phase they've had. Um, so there's some things to think about. And what can we do as educators in giving them the tools again that will help them with this? The third area, it will be the gaps in the curriculum. Obviously, that's being handed down from the powers that be and high up above, that there'll be recovery curriculums and gaps in learning. Obviously, again, they've had a year. There's been online learning. There's been some classroom. Have they been in because they're a key worker or because they're vulnerable? But generally, this has not been a usual year. Where are they now? Where would we have liked them to have been? And where do we want to get them by the end of the term, by the end of the summer term, or even by the next academic year? So an idea from us here at the Sports Project is, how can we support their classroom learning when they're outside? So how would it look if there were links to the classroom? So as well as embedding what the social emotional skills, embedding them back into the classroom, what classroom learning could we put into any sport and physical activity sessions? Could we directly embed any maths or any English? If you're using music in a lesson, could you actually link that to a learning objective within music? If you're talking about the heart rate and things like that with the physical aspects, that could link to science. What themes and trends are happening in the classroom? Again, can we link that? So it's a different environment that they're learning in. We see it a lot, that eureka moments. Oh, I get it now. I get it. So what can we do to support the classroom learning in a different environment, and even in a real life scenario of running a race? How long is that race? Is it shorter or longer than the last race? How much time did I take to do that? Bags and bags, as I'm sure you're aware, of things that we can put into that. So the three issues that the children are facing, in my opinion, are mental health, physical health, and academic health. Okay, so taking all those sort of little stickable ideas and those sort of thoughts around all of that, how might that look for a school? So the first important thing is, when you're considering regular sport and physical activity, is the collaboration with the school, the collaboration with the staff. So talking to the teachers about what SEL needs they think their children have. It's identifying that one priority need right now, baselining it, and then tracking it and then monitoring it through the sessions. What maths and English are they planning to do? What medium-term plan have they got for different subjects? And where would they like us to support their classroom learning within the sessions? Obviously, the physical health element, let's get them outside, let's get them out of fun, highly active, energized sessions. But everything connected back to those three aims of mental health, physical health, and academic health. So the sessions, what if the sessions were delivered by someone who's got a degree in coaching or teaching and significant experience in primary schools? So then these people are not causing any problems for the school, they're actually supporting the school. And as we hear from our schools, two of my favorite quotes from teachers, one was that it actually allows us to buy back lessons, because we are ticking away learning objectives and supporting learning. And also the other thing is, it's surprising how much having someone else chipping away at the aims and objectives, the outcomes, actually helps. So again, the setup would be collaborate with the teachers around the aims and the needs, high quality instruction that's supported by TLA, and then project management of the instruction to make sure that it's monitored and it's evaluated, and any interventions can be done. And this can be done in two important ways. The EEF and the EIF recommend every child gets it. So universal sessions, every class gets 1 or 2 sessions a week. And secondly, targeted sessions, small groups for those children who are more at risk of mental health, who are more vulnerable, children that are maybe SEN or unemployed parent or big family, lots and lots of risk factors. There's some of my thoughts. I'd love to speak to you about it in more detail and understand what needs yourself, your staff, and your children are facing. Many thanks for your time.